So I wanted to talk about my experience with Monster Hunter Rise now that it has officially hit consoles for the very first time. If you didn't know, Rise was originally designed for the Nintendo Switch, and then after that, it did get ported to PC, and now we finally have it on consoles. And the thing that's kind of great about this is the fact that it's on two generation of consoles. You can get this on the PS5, the Xbox Series consoles, the Xbox One, or the PS4. So if you have a last generation hardware, you're still good to go when it comes to Monster Hunter Rise. One thing to note about this release is the fact that Capcom said they have no plans to make any physical version for consoles, which is a little bit puzzling just because the Nintendo Switch does have a physical version. I don't know why they're doing that, maybe to save, maybe to cut costs or whatever the case may be, but it is a bummer that we're not getting a physical release for this for consoles. Will that ever change in the near future? Yes, that could change in the future, but right now it looks like Capcom has no desire to make a physical version of this game, so it's going to be digital or nothing. And there are some caveats with this release, which I do want to talk about. And then I do want to say, unfortunately, with Capcom games, I'm pretty much unable to actually show footage because Capcom does actually like striking channels and copyright striking channels just for showing footage of Capcom games. And there's really nothing I can do about that. So sorry to all you people that may want to see footage of this game. You'll just have to look it up online, which is unfortunate. But going back to some of the caveats of this game, there's two big caveats which do kind of suck. One is the fact since they ported it to consoles, there is no cross-save and cross-play. Cross-play is a really big missed opportunity, in my opinion, just because it would bring the community together and it would make sense that everyone could play on the same servers, but no, that's not a thing. And it does suck for me specifically, since I do have a friend that's on another platform, which I can't get that platform right now, or there's no reason for me to buy a whole console just to play on that platform. So I'm pretty much not able to play with my friend, which is pretty unfortunate. And that really is a big missed opportunity with this game, to say the least, that I can't play with my friend just because they're on another platform than me, which does suck. The cross save thing as well does suck because I do have the Nintendo Switch version of this game, and I have poured in a lot of time into that one. So it is unfortunate if you're coming from another platform like the PC version or the Switch version, and you're moving over to console for the very first time and you wanted to try it out. Unfortunately, that's not possible. You can't move your game save over, and that actually is a reason why a lot of people don't want to rebuy the game or replay the game, just because they don't want to have to worry about starting the game over from scratch. For me personally, it's not really that big a deal, just due to the fact that I love this game that much. I don't mind redoing everything and re-grinding everything because this game is a very good game and a very fun game to me. So it's not the end of the world, but it is something to consider if you're thinking about buying this game and you already own another version of Rise, which is unfortunate. And then another thing that is actually great is the fact that if you are on any Xboxes right now, this game is a Games Pass release. If you're on Xbox and you don't own Games Pass, and you're thinking about buying this game on Xbox, I really highly think don't buy the game outright. You should probably buy Games Pass because, for one, Games Pass is relatively cheap, and you may be unsure if you're going to like Rise to begin with, especially if you are a brand new Monster Hunter player. It's kind of hard to throw this, to pay for this game for full price and then find out this game is just not for you. I'm not quite sure what this game is going for right now off the top of my head, but yeah, just buy Games Pass at least on the Xbox platforms if you're thinking about trying this game out for the very first time. That's actually how I'm playing this game. I'm playing this game right now on the Series X with the Games Pass version of the game. Now let's talk about how this game actually runs on current gen hardware. Now, to say the least, this game runs extremely well, and everyone's going to be happy with this game. I'm actually pretty surprised by how well this game actually runs. It's one of the better running games. Granted, that's not saying much considering this was a Nintendo Switch release to begin with. So, of course, if it's running on mobile hardware like the Tegra X1, it's going to be able to run on current gen hardware without a doubt. It is definitely one of the best looking games out there. Granted, the textures don't look all that great, even in 4K, but I'm still really surprised by how well this game actually looks when we're talking about Monster Hunter, and I'm actually pretty blown away by how well this game actually runs. You can get this game to run at 4K 60. It also supports 120 frames per second on current gen hardware, and believe it or not, this game actually runs slightly higher than 4K on current gen consoles. You can get this game to run at 4.8K, which is slightly a little bit higher resolution than 4K. So I thought that was actually very interesting. Another thing that's interesting about this release as well is the fact that they do give you a lot of customization when it comes to all the different settings, like for instance, the graphical settings and things like that. And those things you typically only see on PC releases, to customize graphics, to customize performance and things like that. In the settings, they let you go really, really deep by how much you want to customize. And I thought that was interesting because, again, you just don't see that you just don't see that all too often when we're talking about console releases of games. But it makes sense. There's really no reason to have those settings anyway, since most games are optimized for consoles to begin with. But it is great if you want to mess around and try different things and stuff like that. So overall, yes, it runs fantastic. It looks amazing. It runs well. One thing that is also nice about this when we're talking about all that is the fact that this game also has extremely fast loading time. Sure, the Switch version didn't have annoying loading times per se, but you can definitely notice the difference from the Switch going over to console, especially if you're playing on current gen hardware. You can see how fast this game actually loads. A lot of time this game will load in like 2 to 3 seconds a lot of times, and in some instances or a lot of cases it actually only loads in about one or 2 seconds. It's really freaking fast when it actually comes to the performance of this game, so you won't have to worry about loading time. Whether you're going into a quest to fight a monster or you're backing out going to the hub, it's almost instantaneously, and that's something I do like about this. I'm glad Capcom pretty much optimized this game to the fullest on current gen hardware, so that's something I do like about this game. Now, when it comes to Monster Hunter as a whole, which I kind of do want to talk about, is the fact that overall I'm liking my experience. I'm actually liking it so much on current gen consoles. I'm going to probably put in another couple of hundred hours into Rise, because I actually really do enjoy Rise. Even though I've already played the Switch version for so long, I'm actually very excited to actually play this game over again. I didn't know I would re-fall in love with Monster Hunter Rise. I will say, if you are a first-time player of Monster Hunter, I definitely think Rise is a good beginner spot to actually jump into a Monster Hunter. Also, taking in consideration, if you're on Xbox, again, you do have that luxury of playing it on Games Pass, which you pretty much won't lose anything if you try it on Games Pass to begin with, so you can kind of just mess around, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. I will say Monster Hunter is not for everybody, but at least start with Rise, in my opinion, and then see if you like Monster Hunter, because the thing is, I love Rise for the fact that they added a lot of quality of life improvements to Monster Hunter that weren't in previous games, like for instance World or anything like that. I know some people don't like Rise all that much, because I will have to admit Rise actually is fairly easy, considering also a lot of the different quality of life improvements they added to Monster Hunter. And some people like the more raw experience of Monster Hunter, which the other games kind of give you that experience. But I really do like Rise. I actually like Rise so much, I'm actually willing to go back to some of the older Monster Hunters. More specifically, I kind of want to go back to Monster Hunter World, just because when I played World for the very first time, I didn't appreciate that game, and honestly, I didn't understand the concept of Monster Hunter to begin with. So I would love to go back to that game, and maybe I would actually like that game, considering also if you're playing on consoles or anywhere relatively, that game is always relatively cheap, so I can probably get that game and play that game. But right now, I don't know if I'd get it immediately, just due to the fact that I am so addicted to Rise right now. As we speak right now, I've already honestly put in about 30 hours into the console version of Rise on my Series X, just because I'm really in love with this game. I love overall how this game works, and I really do think Monster Hunter is one of those games where if you don't know what to play, you just throw it on, and you just have a good time, and you can relax and things like that. It's kind of like that game you just play when you don't know what to play or don't know what to do. You just throw it on and you know you're always going to have a good time. And it also has a lot of content. When you look up how many hours most people put into the Monster Hunter franchise, not including Rise, you'll always hear people say, yeah, I put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours in Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is definitely one of the most addicting, most replayable games of all time, definitely. So if you're looking for a game that's going to give you a lot of content, I would really recommend buying Monster Hunter. You won't be disappointed. And the fact as well, this game does have online. With Monster Hunter, most of the time, with most current releases of Monster Hunter, you play with up to 4 players online fighting monsters, and that can get very fun and very chaotic at times, and it's just overall a very good game. And things like that. And yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this, and I'm going to keep playing it. And what else can I say about Monster Hunter that I haven't already said about Monster Hunter? I don't know what else I can say about Monster Hunter other than it's a fantastic game, and I'm glad it's on current gen consoles, and I'm glad everyone out there, no matter what platform you're on, has the luxury and chance to play Monster Hunter, because I think it's one of those games that once it clicks for you, you'll get addicted. But for some people, maybe not, because I will say this game is also one of the most repetitive games I ever played, and I can see why some people wouldn't want to play a game like this. It doesn't click for them, or it doesn't make sense for them. I can definitely see that. It is definitely for a specific mindset. If you have a mindset of getting kind of repetitive repetition in, or like, for instance, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm going on about. I don't know what I'm going on about. But yeah, basically it's a good game, and that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. And I've been kind of obsessed with Rise on current gen consoles, and that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne signing out.